Part 1. I found the necklace my husband had bought for his mistress on the same day I found out I was pregnant. The little velvet box was hidden in the second drawer of his desk, under some hospital receipts and a medical conference folder that was probably another lie too. I was not looking for evidence. That was the worst part. I was only organizing his papers, the way I always did, playing the role of the perfect wife inside a perfect housey in Lomas de Chapultepec. I opened the box, and the gold pendant shone under the afternoon light. It was a small heart, delicate and expensive. On the back, there was an engraving. For Camila, my true home. I felt the floor open beneath me. I did not scream. I did not cry right away. I just stared at those words as if they were a medical diagnosis, clear, cold, irreversible. My phone vibrated on the desk. It was Damian. A surgery got complicated. Do not wait up for me, the same message as always. The same elegant excuse. The same lie I had wanted to believe because it was easier to live in a house full of silence than to accept that my marriage was an empty display case. Damian was a surgeon. Handsome, polished, flawless. The kind of man who greeted everyone with a gentle voice and made mothers say, "What a catch." My mother, Veronica, adored him. To her, my marriage to him had been the perfect ending to her project: a well-dressed daughter, a beautiful home, a successful husband, charity dinners, and carefully maintained smiles. But I had been disappearing inside that postcard for years. Every night Damian came home smelling like another woman's perfume. I told myself it was from the hospital. Every time he missed dinner, I repeated that saving lives mattered more than sitting across from me at the table. Every time he told me I was sensitive, dramatic, or too dependent, I swallowed the shame and apologized. Until that morning. That morning, I took a pregnancy test in the guest bathroom because I did not want Gloria, the woman who helped us at home, to hear meccaring if it came back negative. But 2 pink lines appeared. I sat on the cold floor with the test in my hand, laughing and crying at the same time. After treatments, injections, studies, and entire nights thinking my body was the problem, there was a baby growing inside me. I wanted to tell Damian. I pictured his face. I pictured an embrace. I imagined that maybe a child could repair the cracks. Then I found the necklace. I opened his laptop. The password was still our wedding date, a cruel irony. The emails appeared without mercy: reservations at restaurants in Polanco, photos of Camila in hospital coats, messages where he told her he would soon fix my situation. I was his situation. Not his wife. Not the woman who had supported his career while he completed his specialty. Not the one who smiled at his galas when he forgot to hold her hand. Just a pending inconvenience. I stood up slowly. I went to the closet and took out a small suitcase. I packed clothes, documents, my marriage certificate, my passport, a few pieces of jewelry from my grandmother, and the information for a bank account Damian did not know about. It was not much, but it was mine. Then I sat at this desk and wrote a letter. Damian, I found the necklace. I found the emails. I found the truth. I will not keep living as an ornament in your perfect life. Beside the letter, I placed the positive pregnancy test. For a moment, my hand rested on my still flat stomach. "Just you and me, my love," I whispered. "We are going to learn how to breathe far away from here." I left my keys on the letter. I also left Camila's necklace on top of it, so would understand that his lie had nowhere left to hide. When I walked out, the house was silent. My heels sounded against the marble like a goodbye. I did not know where I was going. I only knew I could not stay. I drove until Mexico City became a blur off lights behind me. And as I took the highway toward the coast of Oaxaca, my phone began to vibrate non-stop. Damian had found the letter. But I was no longer the woman who came back when called. Part 2. I arrived in Puerto San Isidro after almost 8 hours on the road, with swollen eyes and a heart pounding as if it wanted to escape before I did. It was a small town in Oaxaca, with sandy streets, faded colorful houses, and an ocean that roared as if it knew how to keep secrets. I had visited once as a child with my grandmother. She used to say the ocean heals what people break. I rented a simple room above a small diner facing the pier. No marble, no designer lamps, no enormous mirrors where a woman learns to monitor even her posture. Just a bed, a window, and the smell of salt. My phone had 43 missed calls from Damien and 18 from my mother. "Mariana, do not be ridiculous," she wrote, using my full name like a punishment. "Damian is devastated. A wife does not just disappear like this." I did not answer. The next morning, I went downstairs for breakfast. The owner of the diner, Nora, a woman with silver hair and strong hands, looked at me for 3 seconds and said, "You are either running away or being born. Sometimes it is the same thing." I almost choked on my coffee. "My name is Mariana. And I am Nora. Eat your eggs and beans. You are eating for 2, right?" I put my hand on my stomach. How did you know? Because I have seen many broken women walk in here, and pregnant women protect their bellies before they protect the lie. Nora gave me a job at her cafe, El Faro Azul. At first, I only washed cups and served banana bread. I got tired quickly, but for the first time, nobody asked me to smile so I would look perfect. That was where I met Mateo, a former Navy man who repaired boats at the pier. He always sat in the corner with black coffee and old books. He had sad green eyes and a way of watching doors as if he were waiting for a war. One day, a tray fell in the kitchen, and he stood up at once, his body rigid. Nora said, "Everything is okay, Mateo." It was only a tray. I understood that he carried invisible wounds too. Over time, he began to speak to me a little, but always with honesty. He walked me home when it rained. He left books for me. One afternoon on the beach, while the sky filled with black clouds, I told him, "I am pregnant." He did not ask who the father was. He simply took off his jacket and placed it over me shoulders. "Then you should not get wet." That simple gesture broke me more than any elegant promise Damian had ever made. But peace does not last when someone still believes you belong to him. One Friday, my mother appeared in the cafe wearing dark sunglasses and carrying an expensive purse, as if she had accidentally stepped into a life that embarrassed her. "Mariana, enough of this performance." Damian is suffering. "You are coming back with me." "No." Her gaze dropped to my stomach, already visible. "You are pregnant? And you did not tell him?" "He does not deserve to use my daughter to lock me up again." My mother pressed her lips together. "Marriage is not a fairy tale, sometimes an intelligent woman looks the other way." Then Nora came out from behind the counter. "Around here, we do not force any woman to go back to the place where they dimmed her light. My mother scoffed. "And who are these people supposed to be?" I looked at Nora, at Mateo sitting at his table, and at the fishermen who had lowered their voices to listen. "My family. The one that actually sees me." My mother left, swearing Damian would come. And that night, when my phone received a message from him saying, "I know where you are. We will talk tomorrow," I knew the real confrontation had only just begun. Part 3. Damian arrived the next day in a black SUV, wearing a white shirt, an expensive watch, and the face of the respected doctor he had used so many times to make me doubt myself. He entered the cafe as if he owned the place. Nora pretended to clean the counter. Mateo waits at his table, calm, but with his back ready. "Mariana," Damian said. "Enough. We are going home." "I do not have a home with you." His eyes dropped to my stomach. The mask cracked. "You are pregnant." "Yes. It is a girl." "And you hid it from me?" I let out a bitter laugh. "You hid Camila from me. So we are even, except mine was to protect a life, and yours was to destroy a marriage." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You are hormonal. Confused. Your mother is right. This is a crisis. Come back to Mexico City, and we will fix it." The old Mariana would have trembled. The one who measured every word so she would not upset him. But that woman had stayed behind in Lomas de Chapultepec, beside a letter and a necklace. "I am not confused. I am awake. Are you going to raise my daughter while serving coffee in some forgotten town?" "I would rather serve coffee in peace than live like decoration in a mansion full of lies." Damian looked at Mateo with contempt. "And who is this? Your new savior?" Mateo closed his book. "She does not need a savior. She only needs witnesses." Damian lost control. He grabbed my arm. "This ends now. Do not touch me." My voice came out so strong that everyone in the cafe went still. Nora already had her phone in her hand, ready to call the police. I pulled myself free. "I am filing for divorce. I have copies of your emails, the reservations, the payments to Camila, and the messages where you call me a pending inconvenience. If you try to declare me unstable or take mid-order from me, all of it goes to the hospital, your partners, and the medical board." For the first time, Damian looked afraid. "You would not do that." "I already started." I took a copy of the petition from my bag, prepared by the attorney I had found in Oaxaca. Nora knew a lawyer in Yucatan who, as she put it, had sharper teeth than a shark. Damian took the papers with a stiff hand. "You are going to regret this." "No. I regret taking this long." He left without shouting. That was worse for him. Men like Damien need an audience. And in that cafe, nobody wanted to applaud him. The divorce was hard, but quick. When Camilla realized there would be no house, no clean image, and no silent wife to carry the blame, she disappeared from the hospital and from his life. My mother stopped calling me for months. Later, she sent a cold card when my daughter was born. I did not reply. Renata Luz was born one June dawn, while the sea struck the rocks and Nora held my hand. Mateo paced outside the hospital like a soldier waiting for orders. When the nurse allowed him in, he saw my little girl, and his eyes filled with tears. "She is strong," he said. "Like her mother," Nora replied. I did not give Renata Damian's last name as her first surname. That was one more legal battle, but I won. He sent a congratulatory message through his lawyer and signed the child support agreements without fighting much. I think he no longer wanted more light shining on his shadows. Months later, I moved into the apartment above the cafe. We painted Renata's room sea green, Matteo sanded an old rocking chair, and Nora sewed curtains from flowered fabric. The fisherman brought a crib. The town doctor gave us diapers. None when it mattered. Matteo and I did not rush. We both knew wounded people need to learn how to stay without using each other as shelter. First we were friends. Then family. Later, one afternoon on the beach, while Renata played in the sand, he took my hand. I do not want to rescue you, he said. I want to walk beside you, if you ever want that. That day I cried. Because healthy love does not break down doors. It knocks softly and waits. 3 years passed. Today, I am Nora's partner at El Faro Azul. We opened a small bookstore next to the cafe, with children's stories and used poetry. Renata runs between the tables with dark curls and eyes full of the sea. She has called Matteo dad since she learned the word, not because anyone asked her to, but because he was there for every fever, every fall, every frightened night. We got married 1 year ago on the beach, with no luxury, no society pages, no mother organizing my dress, and no Damian dictating my future from the shadows. Just Nora, a few friends from town, Renata throwing flowers, and the ocean as our witness. Damian married Camila later, and then they separated. His reputation at the hospital was stained when several residents spoke up about his relationships. My mother now sends gifts on Renata's birthdays. Sometimes I think about answering her. Sometimes I do not. I am learning that forgiveness does not always mean opening the door. I sold the gold necklace. With that money, I bought the first reading table for the children's bookstore. Sometimes little girls sit there in color. I like to think that something born from betrayal ended up holding new stories. When I look back, I do not see an abandoned wife. I see a woman who left one night, afraid, pregnant, and without a map. That woman saved me. She saved my daughter. She saved the part of me that still believed I'd served love without conditions. Damian laughed at my letter until he saw the pregnancy test. But what he never understood was that the test was not a chain meant to bring me back. It was the key that pushed me out. And here, between coffee, salt, and mid-otter's laughter, I discovered that starting over does not mean losing everything. Sometimes it is the first time you have something that is truly yours.